Lifestyle here, child of God. It's been a while, folks. It's been quite a while. I just been working. Um, Today I wanted to talk about, where my relationship with God is, and it's based off the experiences that I'm going through currently. And I don't know if it's right to say that I'm not getting along with God right now, but I'm not getting along. um, First thing I'd like to express is that, you know, somebody from my past that I was in a relationship with basically about 6 years ago, pretty much has reached out to me in their way of reaching out. And, to make a long story short, this person had stuff that they wanted to express, I guess, still. And to be honest with you, the conversation really was just a circle in the sense of like, we've talked about these things before. But this time I didn't want to argue with her. I just let her express herself. I asked permission to rebuttal to some of the things. I honestly felt like it was a bashing session. But let me give you some perspective. Like, this person has moved on, obviously. This person has children and is in marriage. And, I'm very proud of this person, honestly. This person is great. This particular person has done some amazing things in those 6 years since we haven't been close, talking, whatever. But she just was saying a lot of the same things that we've talked about before in the past as I start to remember and recall things. And I'm like, okay, I haven't spoken to you in 6 years. I didn't bash you. I didn't bring up anything from the past that, I was angry about. I didn't really get a chance to do all that. But she did. And she would say that it's not bashing, but I'm just like, yo, you're still thinking about stuff, and your whole marriage, you're still thinking about stuff from the past between us that hurt you, that I've apologized for, that we've talked about. And I haven't talked to you in 6 years. And I wasn't planning on talking to you. I thought that we had really grown apart from each other. But apparently not. And although this person won't admit that she still has feelings or still thinks about me, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what she really feels deep down inside. That, women, they don't always tell you everything. She did ask me, she did make a request for me, but I denied that request because I'm just like, ma'am, it's been 6 years. You have a husband. No, I'm not doing that. And I really don't even know if I should trust you, because who would ask for certain things? I can't really say too much. But certain things you shouldn't ask for, and I'm just like, ma'am, no. No way. I don't care if it is for teaching. Hey, don't use me to teach, You need to write about our relationship in a book, fine. From your perspective, fine. Obviously everything is not going to be true because there's two perspectives to everything. But, one thing I've grown out of is just trying to defend myself when we're having a conversation. At some point in time, I expect God to give the real revelation to me and the other person. And I think that's why I'm reaching out today on this podcast, because I'm so upset with God. We're beefing. We're not getting along. I don't understand why I have to go through so much, and people have to go through so little. I have to understand other people's perceptions and feelings, but people don't even know or wouldn't even be able to withstand, overcome the perceptions, feelings, and the things that I've been through. And I'm like, Lord, you're so unfair. I don't want to say unrighteous, but you're so unfair that you don't put people, like, everybody doesn't have to go through what everybody goes through, even though they might cause the affliction or they might be just as wrong as the opposition. Does that make sense? And I'm just like, Lord, what kind of God allows people to behave like this? And again, it wasn't the super big bashing session, but it was just really blaming me. And I'm just like, yo, I could say so much about our relationship that I didn't even bring up. Because, the thing is like, I really have grown past this person. Obviously, I've been in 2 other relationships after her. And I actually loved these other 2 women way more than I love this woman. Obviously, it's because we broke up when we were separated. I loved the woman at the time, but I just grew up. And I'm not arguing with no woman specifically, but also no man. I'm not doing that. Your opinion is your opinion, and it's none of my business. If you want to discuss your opinion with me, and you would like to get my opinion about your opinion, great. You don't have to agree with it. I don't have to agree with yours. That's fantastic. But I just don't like how people want to heal when they want to heal. Women tend to do that. Men do it too. And then they want to reach out to you. And it's basically like, yo, you did this to me and such and such. But I didn't go back to her and say, oh, you did this to me too. Like, there's some things I could say. But I'm very loving. I'm very forgiving. I tend to make myself forget things because I'm a child of God. I would love to be in the kingdom of heaven. One moment. And so I look to get my heart to a place where I could be like like Jesus, forgiving, and 77 times 7, forgetful over those things, those transgressions somebody has done to me. I really do want God to bless me in the ways that he showed me, but hasn't done nothing yet. I get annoyed sometimes with God, and I know people are going to be like, how dare you say that? But I have a relationship with God. Shoot, he can already read my thoughts. I can't hide it. Jesus already knows our heart. You can try to hide it all you want to and act like, but you feel these things, right? I'm sure God would rather me speak them than versus me trying to hold on to them, or hold back on them. So, I'm just getting annoyed because I'm like, Lord, you showed me so much, but you have done nothing. You showed me so much in my dreams. You've showed me pretty much my future, but you have done nothing. And, God knows the one thing that I want out of everything that I would request out of life, accomplish out of life. And yet he holds it from me. He allows people to intervene in it. He allows women from the past to hate on it. He allows things, and I say allows because we have free will, and God can always intervene in our free will. Obviously, look at the story of Jonah and some other stories, Job, Joseph. But he just allows things, and I'm like, Lord, just cut it out. You shouldn't be allowing this woman to be so imperialized and, basically narcissistic, low-key, to want to still continue to bash me. And again, I use that term loosely because it wasn't really bashing, but it kind of was. Does that make sense? And, when I tried to heal from my past and reached out to folks, like, nobody wanted to, don't reach out to me now, I feel like, you feel me? And so, but I just wanted my friends, my exes are my friends. They know me the best. They know my ways, my mannerisms, even though I've changed a lot. I'm not really the same person. But they know me. They sat under the wing and listened to my ambitious self, They did unmentionable things. I had them crawling around. Okay, anyways, let me get out of that. But yeah, and what I would say to all of them is that, all you had to do was stay put. But it's like the type of women, or how women really are, they want it now. They're so microwavable. And the first man that can give them consistent good dick, I'm gonna just say it, fuck it, I don't care. Consistent good dick, consistently financially supportive and stable, consistent support in whatever manner that they need support. Like, the first person that can give that to them, they just jump out there and, leave the other person. And it's just unfair. And I think that, I go to God and I say, and I never go to these people because it's not them, it's God. Why did you create a woman like that? Why would you give her such immense power over men like that? Don't get me wrong, women out there, men are super wrong for the stuff that we do. Today we're talking about my experience today. I'm talking about my emotional state when it comes to the Lord, how I'm feeling and thinking right now when it comes to the Lord. So, but don't get me wrong, men are terrible. Men are terrible as well. But yeah, man, I don't understand, like, God doesn't put these women through the same circumstances that they put me, that I'm going through currently. When are you going to not necessarily just reap what they sow, but give them a understanding or a super perspective of what I was going through, what I'm going through? And it's always about the woman, and I'm laughably had it up to here. I'm just sick of it. I don't understand why God allows the things he allows and does the things that he does, and his power and his timing and these things. And the thing is a lot of the times when I was with these beautiful, gorgeous, loving women that I was with, there was 3 of them from the last 6 years. I keep telling God, if you don't bring her when I want her, and if she don't come correct when I'm coming correct, she's going to get her heart broken or her feelings hurt. And it's not really going to be my fault. It's going to be somewhat of her fault and the Lord's fault. Because I keep telling the Lord, stop bringing things later. Bring them now. I'm not a patient person, nor will I ever be a patient person, nor could you ever force me to be patient. Eventually, I'm just going to end up doing my own thing, taking it by force. The Bible talks about that. But it's only because the Lord won't give it up when I ask for it. But you give it up to people immediately, all the time. But I have to wait. Okay. Well, every time you make me wait, you're going to build up frustration in me. you're going to build up anxiety in me. You're going to build up low self-esteem in me. Every time you make me wait, and that next young lady is going to end up become heartbroken because I can't function how she actually thinks that she wants me to function. I say thinks because, men change themselves for women as they stay with women, and women really tend to want, in my perception, in my experience, tend to want you to just stay the same and who you are. They just, they want the attention here, they want the love there, and they want the discipline vigorously all the time. So I just get frustrated with God, like, yo, you always make me wait for the things that I want. You lift up this, you lift up that. You allow sin to lift itself up. You allow, in my opinion, bad people to lift themselves up. But when I ask you and I try to wait for you, Lord, to lift me up, it's always patience and wait and this and that. And look, the truth be told is we don't live that long. I've had this conversation with the Lord many a times. We don't live that long. Life expectancy is not hundreds of years like it used to be. Life expectancy on average, not that people don't live longer or live shorter, is 75 years of life. That's not a long time. So, what is the point of making me wait for anything, in my opinion? I don't need, in my perspective, to learn lessons. I need to be put in power to change the things that are incorrect, because our elders from the generation and 2 generations above me were selfish. And they only cared about themselves and getting what they wanted. And they still are the same ways and still are making the same mistakes. Excuse me. Again, I say all this from my experience, my opinion. And I just say to myself, Lord, what in the world is this that you're doing, and give me? Why? People say, oh, you're complaining. And it's like, yeah, complaining is the beginning of change. Any change on the micro or the macro begins when somebody complains. Because why? They're tired of doing the same thing, or they're tired of a situation. They're tired of that relationship. They're tired of that job. They're tired of this, that, whatever, etc. So that's the beginning of change. But I really don't like change. Now, I know that sounds hypocritical, but let me explain. I like to keep things the same when things are good. When you look around in life, a lot of the times, and we don't always know and can see into people's lives, but for the most part, I would like to believe that most people maintain pretty much a steady, stable lifestyle. Yeah, things change, but not really, right? You stay with a stable partner, your house pretty much stays the same for years on a time while you pay your mortgage. Your job tends to change or stay the same. It depends on your career path, but a lot of people have stability, meaning not so much change, and so, but the Lord is always, it's like change since I was born, and I hate it. Like, I'm just like, Lord, and I'm gonna always hate it, because I don't want things to change once I get them the way that I want them, right? Once they're in alignment with the perspective that I'm in, the dream or the arrangement that I would like to have, I don't need them to change. Excuse me. And I just think that the Lord really doesn't love me. And that's the title of this particular cast. That the Lord doesn't really love me, because if he did, he would just bless me with the one thing that I asked for. He would just bless me with the second thing that I asked for. He would keep my parents away from me, and old relationships away from me. He would keep these things away from me. When it comes to my exes, like I said, those are my best friends. And, I would like them back in my life. But as my best friend, I am super different when it comes to who can I be in a relationship with now. The standards are so high. And especially after the woman I was talking about in the beginning of this stream here. I'll just say Yanni. I don't want to keep saying her name every time I talk. Yanni really set a standard for me, a bar for me. And, and so did the young lady after Yanni. They just really were the best. And I really just wish that they could have just stayed. A lot of women just stay with their dude, and they go through things. He cheats, she cheats. He has a kid, she has a kid. This person's job changes, that person's job changes. Living situations change, but people still just stay in a relationship. But who has ever really just stayed with me? People treat me so badly. And yet God doesn't punish them. They don't have to go through the same experiences that I went through. There's no judgment. There's no balance. And so, yeah, that's my beef and my gripe with God. I mean, if you love somebody, Jesus said this: if you're my friend, then just do what I ask. And if we're Jesus' friends, then we should do what he asks. And if Jesus is our friend, he should do what we ask. And that's how friendship should be. That's how you should love your neighbor. But who has loved their neighbor? Who has loved me? I'm not perfect. I make mistakes in our relationships, but that doesn't mean that you have to leave. And a lot of you women out there regretting stuff and made the bad decisions, and I wouldn't say that they're bad decisions, but you made lifelong decisions that you're starting to realize, like, not only is this not cracked up to what it's supposed to be, but that you might have made the wrong choice. Might have. I don't know. Only God knows, but I'm good on all that. I'm good on all that. And so, in conclusion, I'm just going to go on my own and do my own thing. And I don't want to hear any of you Christians saying nothing about God to me in reference to me doing my own thing when I do it and I get to success, because God wouldn't bless me. He didn't love me. He didn't address things. He showed me so many things in my dreams, but then where are they? Why do I have to wait? I'm not waiting. We're not doing that. We don't even have a lot of time here on earth. I'm not going to continue to waiting. When we call on you, act. Time is different for us than it is, and God knows that. So I don't know why he does the things he does and why he wants us to grow so much or be patient and all this stuff. I'm not doing that. You're just going to cause another heartbreak, and I'm not breaking no more women's hearts. I'm just going to go get the most beautifulest woman I can find that loves me more than I love her, meaning not exactly in those terms, but just loves me enough to that, like that Drake song, I love you enough for the both of us. Like love me enough for the both of us, you know? And I want that because women can just pick and choose. They have coochie cats. They could just, all they got, all a nigga, it's niggas out here. Yeah, you already know what I'm trying to say. Like, men have to really, like, ignore you or work for it. And it's like, why? That's not what the Bible says. And if you read the book of Adam and Eve, conflict with Satan, that's not how Eve acted. But somehow, some kind of way, women have the power, and it's just supposed to be balanced. I'm not saying the men are supposed to have all the power, but it's supposed to be a balance. And come to find out, this woman was like watching me for some time, obviously before we spoke, but some time when I was in my success not too long ago. And I'm like, what? You were watching me. You kept seeing me. Are you following me? Are you stalking me? Like, what in the world is going on? I loved that woman when I was with her at the time, but I grew up. I healed. And Yanni, I love probably Yanni the most out of any woman I've ever loved. And even after her, the young lady after her, I didn't realize that I loved her until we broke up. And I was like, yo. But that's what I'm saying. When I'm in the mood, and I know moods change, but when I'm in the love spectrum, when I'm ready to love, which I'm, I would say that is now, then just hand it over, Lord, because, you got to get me while I'm in love. Otherwise, unfortunately, I might break your heart because, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just tired of waiting. And, sometimes when the Lord makes me wait, I get into this mode where I don't give a flying because at the end of the day, it's about me winning. It's about my success. And once I'm in that state, and then you bring the woman, that's why I've always said, Lord, why did you bring her now? Why didn't you bring her when I was ready to love? And then she could have grew with me and embodied that success that I'm building and have. But instead, you always bring the woman when nobody's looking for her. And then she expects me to be in love, but I'm not going to be in love. Woman, you should have came when you were supposed to come. I didn't like how that sounded just now. I'm going to take some of that back. Anyways, the way I said it, But these are just my emotional states. This is just how I feel. And I just think that God is wrong on what he does to my life. But when he decides to bless me with love, like, you're just wrong. Like, I know what I want, I know what I require, and I know what I need. And once I get the woman, I just expect her to look beautiful, look gorgeous. Excuse me. Max out the credit cards. Explicit. Things that are explicit. And then just enjoy everything as I'm built. Allow me to be there for you, but also understand that I'm not perfect and that you have to do some of the work too. When it comes to healing ourselves and our internal selves, because we're individual people becoming one. You feel me? But yeah, I just think that God does not know what he's doing when it comes to my life. Maybe he does when it comes to your life. And it's always, oh, you don't trust God. And it's not that. Like, the Lord never does anything that I would like him to do for me to trust him. It's always some obstacle, adversity, or things I would prefer not to have to deal with. Oh, that's you making choices. Well, I can only make the best choices with the best knowledge that I have. And, Jesus says, get knowledge. The proverb says, get knowledge. And I try. Sometimes we don't always know how to or where to find the knowledge. We don't always have the best advisors or elders to speak to about things, So I just wanted to express myself today. I'll always return, because this is my source of not only release, but my timestamp in life. You feel me? But in conclusion, again, I just wish that God would one, put these people through experiences that I had to go through. I really pray that old and young, excluding my daughter, that they have to go through the same situations that I have to go through, so that they know what it feels like. I don't really want judgment on them and their death, or them to hurt or be punished, but I would like them to go through the same experiences so that they can know what it feels like. Because once we know what it feels like, then we can actually say to ourselves, wow, like, I never knew this person was going through this, or this is how they felt. I'm just a super good guy, cool guy. I don't care what people say about me. They're probably not telling the truth or giving you full perspective. But yeah, I really am, and I do for so many people, in a sense of like good works, in private and secret. I just don't understand why God has to put me through so much. Why do I have to grow so much, and why do I have to be so patient? And I wish that he would take these elders and throw them in the trash. Now, I don't mean that in such a bad way, but what I do mean is like, yo, get your old hands off my life. The generation before mine and before them, they think that they have a right to control your life, and no, they do not. And stay in your lane and stop lying. A lot of you elders lie because y'all don't want to be embarrassed about the things that you did. And I pray that God holds you accountable. That's it. To just pray that he holds you accountable. But get your old hands off my life. Go hold your hands over some other person. And matter of fact, don't even do that. I pray that God get your old hands off of people's lives in general, so people can be free to live their lives and control their lives and their destinies on their own. These elders like to intervene and think that they know best. Get your old ass into a rocking chair and sit your ass down. Good night. Like, you are retired, and for good reason at that. It's time for us young men or young women to achieve and take over the reins, because y'all didn't do a daggone thing about nothing. And that's my personal opinion. Go sit your old ass in a rocking chair and relax. You're there for advisement, but We live in a new era, a new time, unlike the one that you grew up in. So you have no idea. This is wisdom. Be quiet. Your wisdom ain't the same wisdom that transcends through time. Things are different now. You know, women are different now. Men are different now. Children of these days are different now. And those wisdoms that you have, they didn't work for you. You know, you didn't use them in your lifetime. Get your hands off my life. I'll only submit to elders that I know that actually care about me. I'll give them jurisdiction when I know that they care about me. But get your old hands off my life. You don't have no jurisdiction over here. And some of these people know I'm talking about them. Good. Hey, big buddy. Hey, happy buddy. You happy, ain't you? Used to. I love dogs. You know. But yeah, Lord, you know, I'd like to end this saying, Lord, just give me what I asked for. I didn't ask for a lot. You know. It's really only 3 things. And they're just basic life things that pretty much everybody wants in life. It's not nothing crazy. I think the second thing is not preposterous, but it's just, you know, putting out this album, making it special, pulling it together is just, I think that's just, you know, always been one of my ambitions and dreams. And so I got to put this album out. But I don't want nothing to do with old family members. I want them to stay out of my life, and I want to stay out of theirs. I'm not into contacting folks no more. Just, you know, stay away from me, you know. The Lord, I will say, has been protecting my life. Why? I don't know. Like, again, what is it that you want from me, Lord? What is the purpose? What did I come here for? You know, I kind of think I know, but you never know. But like, yo, just let me do that stuff. Put me in position. You let a lot of people lie on my name. You let a lot of people stop me from opportunities. You let a lot of people remove financial success from me. People who are jealous and envious, and they don't want me to have these things, knowing that I'm talented at these things that I'm speaking about. Just like you let people affect Joseph's life. And I get tired of it. I get tired of it. And it doesn't build my faith. It doesn't make me feel stronger in the Lord. It just removes my faith in the Lord. It removes, every time I have to go through something, it just removes my faith in God. It's just like, yo, all you want to do is abuse me, Lord. All you constantly doing is testing me. Stop. You know, just stop. All I ask is for, like I said, these 3 things. 2 being to complete this album, this beautiful art, this beautiful body of work. 3, just being something that everybody else wants in life. But number 1, you know, and he knows what this is, like, yo, just bless me, okay? When it comes to the number 1 thing, like, and you know what I'm looking for. Stop keeping me waiting. You know, don't break another girl's heart, Lord, by keeping me waiting, and I'm just building up the wrong morality and principles. You know, bring me a woman who loves enough for both of us, but also really loves me and actually wants to stay with me, not play with me, pretend with me, and then blaming me. Like, yo, just cut that out. I'm so sick of the Lord and what He allows to happen in my life. Because I don't allow this stuff to happen, and I don't sabotage my own life. I'm telling you, if I really got to talking about some of the things, I could really explain it in a way, not that I'm trying to manipulate, but I could explain it, and you possibly might be like, oh yeah, I could see that. I could see how somebody else tried to sabotage him and this and that. And it really is other people. It's not me. I'm not to be controlled. There shall be no authority but the Most High Yah over my life. I am HNIC, period. Y'all take leadership from me because I know exactly what we need to do and where we need to go. And I know how to get there. I know who to talk to. I got the strings to pull for us to make those moves. And I'm not going into detail about what I'm talking about because, it's not time yet. But, thank you for allowing me to express myself, people out there that are going to listen to this. And thank you for listening to the entirety of it. I'll never ask you to like, share, subscribe. You do what you please. But I just appreciate you hearing me out and letting me speak my truth for where I'm at in my life right now. Thank you for understanding how I feel about the Most High Yah. And, lifestyle here. Child of God.